Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans. And we have another player interview coming up. It is Celestin Haba, defensive end of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Yeah, not a problem. This will be episode 14 of the CFC podcast. And it's funny. We had, it just flips out. Oh, there we go. We keep having the tech issues coming up, but we're doing well now. So, just kind of off-season just started, and we're kind of curious to see how everything's going. And so we kind of wanted to ask you a few questions, actually going through the course of your career. So you grew up in Columbia, South Carolina. What was it like? What was it like to experience playing in sports growing up? Probably till the end of high school.
I'll just say that's really like where my football career started. So blessed to be able to play football, first of all, and then just to play in South Carolina was just amazing. You know, lifelong friends, hard grit football, as they say down south, get it out the mud, they like to say. Like, that's where I kind of like built a competitive edge, if that makes sense, in football. Refusing to lose, learning to work with my teammates and stuff like that. So I enjoy playing ball in South Carolina.
I see. So had you started football, like, I guess, throughout the course of your whole life, or is that something that kind of came in more towards like high school?
I started actually playing football in 8th grade, and then kind of felt my way out to see what I wanted to play or what was best for me.
Was it always like D-line, or did you kind of like cycle through a few different positions? Just because, like, some people, we had Aiden Eberhardt on, actually, I think it was a little over a week ago, and he said he started at quarterback and now he's playing receiver over in BC.
I started out playing tight end probably for like 2 days and then switched over to D-line in middle school. Probably not even 2 days, probably a day.
Oh yeah? Why was that?
This guy's like, I want to hit someone.
I could catch, but I could never stay on my feet. Like, I was always trying to dive and make a spectacular catch.
There you go. If you're trying to dive, then there you go. Get on the D line and go after some quarterbacks. So, do you? And I was about to say it almost it made me think of actually exactly what Rick was saying. He was like, "You're not hitting anyone. You got to go hit someone. You got to get on the defensive side of things." But yeah, how does it work when you transfer from North Greenville to Scottsdale Community College to East Texas A&M?
So basically, my first year at North Greenville, I kind of wanted to take a chance on myself and kind of go bigger, go in the bigger states or whatnot. So I made that move to go play JUCO ball out there in Arizona. I had a good year out there. Things kind of didn't fall through like how they were supposed to, and then I ended up playing at East Texas State. Well, East Texas State now. It was called Texas A&M Commerce when I was there, but I was able to play there for the rest of my college career, and I'm actually blessed to play there. Met lifelong friends, coaches, or whatnot, and can't complain, man.
Fair enough.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. With community colleges, I know I'm not saying you, but if I understood it correctly, the way that it works in the States, those people that don't have grades to go to top schools, I guess they have to go to community college first and then go to those top schools. Is that how that works down in the States if you don't have the grades?
Majority of the time, like that's mostly the reason most guys go to junior college, because of grades.
Oh, okay.
That was my situation, to be exact, like grades or whatnot, and then going from there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I see what you're saying. So, besides, I guess, not just the school, not just the football side of things, but just in general, how was it? How was college there? Just like as a whole, you'd say.
Which school are you asking? Or are you just asking in general?
I'm just saying general, but both, all of the above.
College is an amazing experience. Like, it is what you make it. So I was blessed to be able to be in colleges where kind of had a good atmosphere. Like, even junior college in Arizona, like, I don't even know how to describe it. I felt like I was in Los Angeles, California. If you ever been to Scottsdale, Arizona, then you know what I'm talking about. But it's a great experience out there. And East Texas, I had a good time. East Texas State, I had a good time out there. It's in the rural country, but we made the most of it or whatnot. So I actually enjoyed my time. Yeah.
I see.
See, I thought there was just Texas A&M. I didn't even know that there was East Texas
Yeah.
A&M.
Yeah, they actually just switched back to that. They used to be named that, what, I think in the 90s and whatnot. Then when I was there, it was Texas A&M Commerce for like maybe I want to say the last 20 years, and then they just switched back like I want to
Yeah.
say like a month ago maybe.
Yeah, there's a billion colleges down the States. I can't keep track of
Yeah,
it. Just
it's a
because,
lot of
like, I didn't really start watching much college football until a few years ago. Just because I would go and I'd kind of like turn on the TV and see the game, and I'm like, there's 100 effing thousand people in the building for a college game. Like, this is crazy. Just it's something.
Oh.
It's one of those things where I as much as I enjoy Canadian college, college in the States is just a whole other ball game when it comes to
Carter,
that.
you haven't seen a football game until you go to Michigan.
Oh yeah,
That holds 108,000
I
fans.
was about to say, I think that's bigger than like every NFL stadium. I don't even think there's an NFL stadium that's quite that big.
they get crazy down here, man.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. It's funny. We had my family. We had family friends that lived down in Gainesville, Florida, of course, home of the Florida Gators, and we had gone in Ben Hill Griffith Stadium because I guess the Gators had just finished their season, and so they had the building was just open. You could just walk in, and people would do like their morning workout, just kind of running up the stairs, up and down inside the stadium and whatnot. And that's where I feel like I kind of realized one of the big differences between the college stadiums and the NFL stadiums, where when you go to the NFL stadiums, they got all the nicest stuff. They got all the premium Wi-Fi that they paid however many dollars for people to be on their phones and not watching the game, of course, and all the comfy seating. You got to college stadiums. It's just built as big as it can friggin' be. All bench seating. How many people can we cram in this damn place? Just a different. It's almost like just a different mindset almost of how kind of they approach that. Just these old buildings that they just keep filling up as much as they can.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think that was yours.
So let me just pull it up because I was looking at something. So I had seen online that you had mentioned some things. And so in 2019, you had mentioned that you just came off your best season of your career,
Yeah.
which had been I guess at that point, your high school career. I guess that was COVID season. And you had mentioned that you had overcome adversity at that point. Was that when you had to decide if you're going to pursue football professionally or not?
I think I was talking about 2018. I believe that was.
Okay.
My best college. I mean, my best like career as far as football in college or whatnot. I came off 17 and a half or 18 sacks.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
And kind of just, you feel me? Kind of just went from there.
Yeah. So you just got in the backfield and became a problem.
Yeah, that's when I kind of changed my mindset of, you know what, I can go far with this. I didn't know how far I could go with it until after that season. I was like, I can go far with this.
Yeah. So was that kind of like so if you didn't go into football, what was kind of like the other? Because I guess like a lot of people kind of have, I guess, a backup plan, for example, just kind of like if football doesn't work out, this is kind of what I'm thinking. So did you have that? And if so, what was that?
Honestly, back then, not really. I was just thinking football. And if I wasn't playing football, I'd probably just be working somewhere. But it's a little different now. I'm starting to get ideas and things I'm starting to be interested in or whatnot. But back then, I'm not going to lie, I was all locked in with football. I'm like,
just all in football?
I don't know.
I can't blame you. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's weird of how like careers can end within like a snap. Like I just seen some CFL player get drafted 2 years ago, and the guy just retired this year.
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't know if you know him, but Cole Tucker, he got drafted by Calgary Stampeders, I think 2 or 3 years ago. The guy just retired this year.
Oh man.
Did you know if that was injury or if that was some other thing?
I honestly don't know.
Sure?
I just seen the article of like him announcing his retirement. I'm like, sometimes they just lose passion of playing football. Sometimes it can be injury.
It really depends though, because it's interesting. There's some guys that they'll lose that passion. With some guys, it's even just an interest. It's a situation where they kind of like, it's not even like they're doing bad, but that there's just not really much more to do. There's not necessarily a good spot still available. As it's always a supply demand thing. Like I even remember when Matt Nichols was with Winnipeg for a while, he goes down, Caleros comes in, and then they win the Grey Cup in 2019. And Nichols had then kind of retired shortly after that. And it wasn't because he was a bad quarterback or anything like that. It wasn't that at all. It was just kind of like all their teams at that point kind of had their quarterback situation pretty figured out. And so I guess he had something going on in his life, and he just kind of decided that was kind of a good point to call it. And that's kind of how that goes. And then even like, I remember, I think it was 2 years in the show, Rick, this was actually before you were my co-host. This is when Jake was on the show. We had Johnny Augustine on the show, and he was talking about how he actually had in the off season does real estate in the GTA in the Greater Toronto area. And so I guess it kind of sounds like, post football, that's kind of his plan kind of moving forward. So, some guys have that, some guys don't, and some guys just keep trucking through. Fair enough.
So, what was your best college memory? One football related, one non-football related. It's like, oh, you put me on the spot for that.
He's like, I can think of the football one.
So one football related, I'm gonna say college. Versus Sam Houston State my senior year, my defensive tackle, Ben Hutch, batted the ball in the air, and I caught it and ran it, picked it off,
nice,
took it to the crib, 40-yard touchdown. That's probably my favorite memory. And then non-football, I'm just going to say, like, being in Scottsdale, Arizona, like, that was a whole little vibe out there. I mean, I remember being out I remember right after right after the game, being out at the downtown till like 3 a.m. It's out there like.
So where were you at just a good nightlife in Scottsdale?
Yeah. It's the nightlife out there. So.
He's like, we're just gonna say nightlife. We're gonna leave it at that.
So, 2, 3 a.m. and we like 18, 19.
Fair enough.
That was some good times out there, man.
Yeah, it's funny. I've never been to Scottsdale, Arizona. I've never been to Arizona. I was pretty close. I was over in Nevada, but in like Vegas, but never been to Arizona. But it's one of the places I gotta check out in the States. I've kind of hit the coastlines, but in the interior, like I've hit like North and South Dakota and like Minnesota, Wisconsin, like stuff pretty close to the border. So I haven't gone too far down in kind of the central south sort of thing. So gotta get down there. But it's interesting. We have whenever we have people on from the States, different guys kind of hear about the CFL in different ways. Like Jamal Woods is when he was on, he had said that he knew about it for a while, and then that there's kind of something going on up there. And then once he kind of got here, that's when he then really started to understand the rule changes, all that sort of stuff from American football. But then we've had even instances. We had Micah Awe from Calgary on, and he was talking about how the first time he had even heard of the CFL was he was in a preseason game in the NFL. He injures Carson Wentz in the backfield on a play that he was not supposed to blitz on. And they kept showing this on ESPN over and over again back when he was, the next day when he's having his food or whatever at the cafeteria at college. And that's when apparently his agent reaches out to him that Saskatchewan and BC are calling him, and he's like, what are those words? I don't even know what that means. So that kind of led him up north to the CFL. So when was kind of the first time you had ever heard of the Canadian Football League?
I mean, I've heard of it, but I didn't know, like, I didn't really know anything about it. I just know, like, there used to be NFL players that was in the CFL. So I've always known about it, but none in depth. So when agent called me and told me that Winnipeg wanted to bring me up or whatnot, I just told him, like, let's do it. But I didn't know, like, I ain't know shit about Winnipeg. I searched it. I'm like, it cold. I'm like, -30. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, but hey, it's play football though, and I saw all the success Winnipeg had, and then a couple great cups in a row and whatnot. So I was just like, all right, yeah, I'm ready to get up there.
Doesn't sound too bad then in that instance, probably. Yeah. As a football player, you always want to be winning. That makes sense. So you'd what was kind of your first, I guess, reaction when you kind of heard some of the major rule changes for Canadian football?
I was so confused. That first preseason game, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I was confused. I'm not gonna lie. I was out there having fun, but I'm like, I remember one time, I think it was second down. Yeah, it was second down. And they was like, punt team alert. I looked over my team like, hey, we're about to punt it. He said, hey, 3-down football. I was like, oh shit.
You're like, yeah, I guess it's coming right up. Yeah. Yeah.
Like the waggle messed me up too. I'm like, I'm in practice, my first practice. I'm like, false start. And they looking at me crazy. I'm like, oh shit. I guess that's what it is, man. Shit.
Yep.
and then you got the Antwi kick for 5 yards.
I won't never understand that, man. I'm sorry. I won't understand that one.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny just because this is kind of something that has kind of been brought up a little bit recently in some of the other ones that we've done, just kind of people coming up in the state. I'm always curious for what kind of the opinions are on the rule differences in the CFL versus kind of what they're used to down south. As some people come up and they're like, oh, I love it. This is great. We got this, we got that. But then on the other hand, sometimes you'll be like, this was really weird. Like it took time to get used to it. And so, when we had Jamal Woods on, he was talking about how he was like, I'm glad I'm playing D-line and I'm not having to worry about a guy rushing right at me at the before the plays even started, and we're wondering where the hell everyone's going. And
yeah, I mean, yeah, we already a yard off, so it makes it harder. But I can't imagine playing DB. Like it's hard to play defense in the CFL, in my opinion.
No, that's fair. So do you find that yard off for you makes a big difference?
Definitely. I'm not gonna say a big difference, but it definitely makes a difference. Well, I'd say it makes a big difference because now you got to change your up your get off a little bit, kind of change your angle. Because majority of the time that tackle will kick out to your aim spot. So now you got to change it. So
I think the only time that it makes a difference for a defensive lineman is on the goal line.
Yeah, maybe that 1 yard. On the goal line, you always, I guess, as a bomber D lineman, you have to, when you got on the goal line, you gotta be wary about an Adam Big Hill jumping over you. I always love that. Whenever I saw the Bombers at short yardage, I'm like, everyone's gonna dump in, and then I'm gonna see Adam Big Hill just like Superman fly over the top.
How he hit quarterback from Edmonton. Yeah, I'll never forget that play. That was crazy.
Yeah, no, I remember one time I saw him get it, and I was like, whoa, that was crazy.
How do y'all feel about that one rule where you can punt it and then regain position and then
you're talking the onside punt that Montreal does.
Yeah.
The Antwi kick.
Yeah.
That's a great question, Rick. What do you think?
Or hold on. I'm gonna throw another one out there. Or the Rouge, and you don't even have to get it through the upright.
Yes,
you can just kick it out of bounds.
You can kick it out. You can miss the field goal and still win the game if it's tied, which there has been a heated debate on that this year.
I forgot what team just won a game. Like
that was
Toronto won that against Saskatchewan. Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah, which it's funny. I've heard kind of some people talk about abolishing the Rouge. I've heard of some people talk about still having the Rouge, but changing it kind of within the last 3 minutes, kind of like you should be able to win a game off missing a kick, which I'm not going to lie. I understand that argument. That's a fair argument.
It seems like every year, like 2 years ago, it was the Antwi kick. This year it was the single one. I wonder what's going to be next year's.
There's going to be some sort of Canadian rule that's going to come up next year where something really weird that would not happen in the NCAA or an NFL, and it's gonna cause a shitstorm online, and we're gonna have to see what kind of the opinion is on it.
Or I'm gonna bring up Carter's favorite.
Oh,
Mother Nature being a Bombers fan.
yes,
sir.
that last game against Montreal. Oh, that was a wonderful thing.
Couldn't write a better story than that, man.
Oh my gosh, that was beautiful. Every bit of that. Because it's funny, I wasn't able to watch that game live, but I turned on my phone.
Watched that
and
one
and my dad texts me. He's like, "You gotta fucking see this." And he sends me the post, and I turn it on. I'm like, "What the hell am I even watching?" What? That at the end of the day,
goes to punt it, and then it comes back.
Yeah, that was amazing, man.
And it's weird because like that win came out of nowhere.
That
actually,
was crazy.
It's funny, the backwards punt I've seen before, in the sense of even just from when I played in high school with the big prairie winds in Winnipeg, where it picks up and it keeps going. And of course this is high school, that the punters there can't punt like they can in the CFL. And so sometimes they'll get a little bit more height than kind of range than they're hoping. And I've literally see the ball go up where it goes up, and then it just starts curling back.
Yeah, that
just from the wind picking it up. So, but I was pleased to see that Mother Nature was a Bomber fan.
Yeah.
What was your favorite moment in the CFL?
Yeah, like favorite memory.
Favorite memory in the CFL. And we had a lot of fun moments, man, playing with the Bombers. I gotta say, just being to two back-to-back Grey Cups, even though it didn't turn out how we wanted to, like just to experience that Grey Cup, we 2 years in a row, like it's not like that'd probably be my favorite memory.
Hey, just be thankful you're not on the Ticat bandwagon where we haven't won in friggin' since '99.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you guys will be able to do it next year, now that we're back in Winnipeg for the Grey Cup.
Well, we took Gouveia from you guys, so hopefully we can.
I still believe in my team. No, so kind of favorite. So what would you then say? I guess your favorite memory is outside the CFL. So that would be, I guess, anytime in college, even before that, just playing football for whatever reason,
So favorite football memory, basically.
Yep.
Running out of the tunnel with that Bomber plane going right beside you, running out to those crazy Bomber
doing donuts in the other end zone.
I'll say one of my favorite memories with the CFL is my first sack last year in the very first. Couldn't believe, like I was like, I went home and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sit down. I'm just like, man, that was real just now. Like playing my first pro game, and then kind of, I'm not gonna say iced it, but kind of iced it. You feel me?
Yeah. No, I feel that makes sense. No, it's funny though, just because whenever I see stuff like that happen, like whenever Willie gets a sack, he comes through and he plays the guitar and he does all that. I'm honestly surprised I haven't seen him run down to the field, hop in the plane, and start doing the donuts himself. Because he sure looks like he's having a lot of fun on the field, that's for sure.
Yeah, he having fun out there, man. That's my boy, man. I love Willie.
Yeah, everyone loves Willie.
One favorite memory probably in high school in the playoffs were I think it was on the day of Thanksgiving. Like our coaches had food out there for us. Like that's how tight our team was. Right after practice, just sitting down there on Thanksgiving. They ate at home after, but you feel me, just to eat at practice. Be practicing on Thanksgiving Day. That was kind of fun in high school.
Yeah. What would you say was kind of the biggest adjustment? Like not even necessarily in the football aspect of things, but even just moving from South Carolina and everywhere you were in college, moving up into Canada, just because I'm sure there was probably a lot of weather changes amongst other things.
For sure. But I'd just say the big thing is kind of adjusting to like the Canadian lifestyle culture. I mean, it's not too different from the U.S., but it's like way more peaceful. Like just kind of being so used to noise and all kind of stuff. Going up there and it's just peaceful all the time, at all times. Even
Oh yeah, I've heard New York's horrible for that. Like you have your window
Ooh.
open, you're always hearing like sirens going off.
Well,
like
that's
just
why.
like a sense of peace. It was. I'm not gonna say it was a big culture shock, but
Yeah,
it was definitely
noticeable.
used to.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's funny. Even I remember when I was
You
in.
say what?
It's funny. I remember even when I was in New York, one of the things that I found, Rick, was that when it came to
Your
the way
phone's
people
coming.
drove. Oh, we good? We good?
Hold on, it's
Carter, you
coming.
keep on cutting in and out.
Yeah, it's you cutting in and out.
Oh,
Your
can you hear me
audio.
now? We always
I
have
can
this.
hear you now.
You can hear me now? Okay. I
Yeah.
was saying, even just, I remember when I was in, we always have these connection issues happen a little bit. When I was in New York, Rick, one thing that I found was that people, when they were driving, would use their horns instead of their brakes. As I couldn't believe that it wasn't just like, it wasn't just jaywalking I found in New York. It was like a jaywalking congalong going across the road.
I will say, so we had a trip Thanksgiving weekend this year where I flew from Hamilton with a few friends to go watch you guys
Canadian
play.
Thanksgiving.
Canadian Thanksgiving when you guys played Toronto, and then we went to Sask the next day to watch them play BC. And Carter's favorite moment, I kid you not, who in Saskatchewan made it that you turn left on a red?
Yeah, there's a sign on the lights there saying no left-hand turns on red, and I'm thinking this should be obvious. Who's turning left on red? Why does the sign have to be there? Like, did somebody not know? Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
oh my goodness, just some wild stuff you can find over there in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that's an interesting place, man.
So, are there any CFL or NFL defensive linemen, or even any CFL or NFL players in general, past, present, that you admire or draw an inspiration from for your career?
NFL, I'm gonna say Von Miller. I just watched a lot of his tape and kind of try to replicate a lot of his stuff while trying to just do my own stuff at the time. And CFL, once I started do my homework in the CFL and talk to guys about it, like can't wait. I'm not gonna say that's my play style, but I just like love watching him play or love watching old videos and can't wait.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Now one question I actually had a little bit earlier that I forgot about that I just kind of remembered is besides football, were there any other sports that you really were like interested in that you had kind of played growing up, or was it all baseball as well?
No, not baseball. Basketball.
No, not baseball.
Yeah, no. I can't play no baseball. my high school team was good at baseball though. They went to state championship every year, but nah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I couldn't play no baseball, man. I wish I did though. I wish I at least learned.
I was about to say, for those wondering, before we reset our Zoom meeting, we were talking about the new baseball contract that came out for almost $800 billion. And so that makes a lot of sense. So was it just football, or did you have anything else?
I played basketball my freshman year of high school, but that was just for a year. But I played basketball every now and then as a hobby or whatnot, because growing up, that's how they played. So it kind of forced you to play basketball or at least try to be good at it. And I did track. I did shot put for a year.
Oh yeah,
in year high school. So
I was about to say, yeah, no, it's funny whenever we did any sort of track and field events for a school or whatever, I'm like, I'm not running, I'm doing shot put, shot put and discus. But yeah, actually, since you've kind of been spent some time in Canada, spent some time in Winnipeg, have you watched any hockey at all?
It's crazy, man. Before I left, I told myself I was saying I needed to catch a Jets game, and I didn't go. So I need when I get back, I need to go ahead and go to a Jets game. Man.
I was about to say, no, that's fair. You maybe you'll have to come back right. I guess it would be probably right before preseason when the playoffs come out, and the Jets are rocking the whiteout with crazy atmosphere, and so.
Games go crazy. They doing real well right now.
Yeah, no, they're in kind of the top of the standings. I think they're third in the league as we're recording right now. I was at
Yeah.
the game tonight, which they lost to Columbus, which kind of sucks.
They've
So,
lost what was that? Their last 3 games since
no,
you've
they
gone?
didn't. They won. No, because we played yesterday
Their
and we won
last
that game.
two.
I don't know what you're talking about, Rick. We beat Chicago
But
like
but you didn't go to that game though.
because it was in Chicago. I live in Winnipeg. I'm not flying around with a team. I don't have that kind of money, Rick. No, that's fair. I figured I have to ask. Coming up here for that. One question that I find a little bit interesting is kind of different players have different ways they kind of prepare for the games. Do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions that you swear by? Now, we've had kind of a few interesting examples of this. I think it was Jamal Woods who said he plays, what was it on his phone? Was it spades? Is that what he said it was? It was some sort of
spades.
spades. He's played spades on his
Cards,
phone before the game. When we had Braylon Addison on, he was talking about his teammate Nick Arbuckle. At least teammate at the time was Nick Arbuckle, who plays ping pong before every game. And AJ Allen in Saskatchewan plays chess on his phone to get his eyes moving and whatnot before the game. Is there anything kind of any ritual that kind of gets you set up before you hit the field?
I kind of just put my music on and take my shirt off and just go in a whole different world.
Yep.
Kind of tune everybody out and just listen to my music.
Yeah.
That's all I really do for real. I probably call a couple people. Like I call one of my best friends.
Yep.
Call my mom, and then just go from there. Put on the headphones, and then I don't hear nothing else but that music.
Makes sense.
It's funny because Ted Gavea, your guys' old assistant GM, when he was doing his press conference in Hamilton the other day, because he's our new GM, he was mentioning when he was with Toronto, his mom is a Ticat fan. She'd always call him before every game, just when they play, just to chirp him because of the rivalry.
Sounds like a good mom right there.
Who would you say your biggest role models are in your football journey, and what lessons did you learn from them?
I say like majority of my coaches that I played for. Start with my high school coach Reggie Shaw, Coach Kurtz, Coach Murphy, then up to my trainer, Coach Kevin Washington. He kind of stick with me through like my whole football journey, kind of giving me great advice. Trying to keep my head like my head on my goal or whatnot, and just like go from there, like kind of playing that father role or whatnot. And I feel like I just own so much. I owe these guys so much that paved the way for me or helped me out in any kind of way, kind of showed me the sticks or whatnot. So those are some of the guys, and even my college coaches, Coach Baylor, my head coach, coaches I played for in the past, like. I don't think I had any bad experience with any of my coaches throughout my football career. I can see.
Oh, yeah.
Just every good. Of course, you're gonna have your headbutts or whatnot, but I can say every coach that I played for kind of play that role of trying to build up a young man and see how high he can go with that.
So, what would you say is maybe kind of being the biggest thing that you've learned from either Jordan Younger or Mike O'Shea?
Like you're a professional now, so
yeah.
We all, even though you feel me, we all get paid to play. We got to do what's best for the team at the end of the day because we got goals. So nobody's bigger than the team. That's what I love about Winnipeg. Like everybody has that one goal is to we're not even thinking ahead. Like win the day, win the minute, win the second. Everything has to be damn near perfect for us to be successful.
Yeah. And it's not even that. It's just like the whole fact of like, okay, like you said, you're now a professional. You're under a microscope with the general public now. Like you can't, going off doing stuff that you used to do in high school. Like media's around.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're under a microscope.
Everyone has their media on them. That is the way that goes.
Yeah.
But no, and that's honestly that doesn't shock me. It's kind of what I've heard about the about O'Shea and about Younger, especially O'Shea though, with just because of how long he's been here, is just kind of that he's fostered a very good attitude in the room, and that is kind of probably one of the things that has kind of helped the Bombers be able to get back to be able to constantly whatever it was, because there was a lot of people that thought that I'm not even talking Winnipeg, I'm just talking in general, that saw the Bombers go down 0-4 this year and think, oh my God, it's finally over. And then I saw you guys winning, and I was like, come on, please shut every single one of them up, please. And you guys got all the way back there. So it's funny, as much as obviously when you get to the big game, you want to be able to get it done. Obviously you want the ring. It makes sense. Everyone wants to win the championship game. I don't think there's anyone doubting that now, after 5 straight Grey Cup games appearances, it doesn't matter what the hell the Bombers' record is, unless there is something saying that they have been mathematically eliminated, they are not eliminated. And so I've been very pleased how you guys have been able to do. So thank you, and please keep that up.
Cheer for us, man.
Absolutely. Now, this is actually a fan question that we got. This is from Murray the Jets Dog on Reddit, and I guess this is asking about the Bombers equipment manager. Does Brad wear shorts to practice?
He does.
He does?
Yeah.
Just like in any and every weather?
Yeah.
There you go.
It's funny.
Someone was
Carter,
really curious. All right.
It's funny because the equipment manager and their staff in Hamilton wear referee shirts.
Really?
Yeah, like wrestling referee shirts, but not without the WWE patch, but like the zebra print shirts.
Dang. I actually been to a WWE show last year in Winnipeg when Raw came to Winnipeg.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I was at that show. It was a fun show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I enjoy going to the wrestling shows whenever kind of they're in town in Winnipeg. And actually, this past year, I had flown to Toronto with a friend of mine to see. They had one of their pay-per-views in Toronto, because I was like, I gotta see one. I'm like, I don't have the money to go to a bunch of them because it's expensive, but I'll do one and it'll be nice, and then I'll do it. And it was a fun time. John Cena showed up and with no announcement, which that was kind of fun.
Yeah. That's live, man.
And then I was like, holy crap, I'm sitting high enough to see the bald spot on his head now, because he's starting to get up there in age.
He's getting old, man.
It just sucks that this is his last year.
Yeah, he's got one more year at it. Did you grow up watching wrestling, or was that?
No, I grew up watching.
Oh yeah. Favorite wrestler?
John Cena and Jeff Hardy.
I was about to say Jeff Hardy inspired an entire generation of children to jump off the tallest shit imaginable and just make terrible decisions regarding their health.
No.
No.
Right there, though.
No,
I will say though,
because Matt Hardy would be in the ring getting the absolute shit kicked out of him, and Jeff would come out, but instead of just running to the ring, he'd run to the ramp and he'd hit the thing, and then he would run down and save his brother who's getting his ass beat or whatever. But he had to do the dance before he head down.
Hey, bro, that boy's crazy, bro.
Yeah. And then John Cena always forcing the cameraman to run right next to him all the way. It was Stu the cameraman running all the way down with him.
I will say, when I started to watch it, this is showing my age, but it seems when I would watch it, like late 80s, early 90s, they had all the dumb gimmicks back then. And then compared to like
Doink the Clown? Now, is that what we're talking here?
Oh, no. Duke the Dumpster Drosy, like a garbage man.
Oh, actually, you know what the best one is? Now, I think Rick, have you guys heard of the Shockmaster? I think Rick knows what I'm talking. Okay.
Yes.
So, Haba, you might have seen this a picture of this before. The Shockmaster was a gimmick in WCW of a guy who wore a stormtrooper helmet with glitter all over it and broke through a wall like the Kool-Aid Man.
No, I don't remember that.
It was very short-lived, But the most
That
hilarious
was
thing
Glenn
is
Jacobs,
that he
wasn't it?
breaks through the wall, and the whole their idea of the story was going to be who is the guy under the stupid glitter stormtrooper, but his helmet comes off after he breaks through the wall, so the mystery is out immediately. And it was just an absolute disaster. Like, I actually, I'm not sure if you're familiar with AEW.
Yeah.
Kind of the other company that's kind of started up a few years ago. They had a show in Winnipeg, and there was a fat guy who dressed up like the Shockmaster and then went to the front row. And it seemed, I checked the footage of AEW Dynamite afterwards, and it seemed like Tony Schiavone got a bit of a kick out of someone dressed up with a glitter stormtrooper helmet.
I will say, out of all managers, Brother Love was the worst.
There you go.
Nothing's worse than him.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand his voice back in the day.
Yeah.
You said
you are tilted sideways right now, Haba, if there's a way we can.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, if we're able to just fix that. No, there we go. Yeah, we got it all figured out now. No, it's funny. I was about to say, if we're talking about managers, always got to talk about Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Okay, he wasn't as bad.
What?
He wasn't as bad. Brother Love, who dressed up as
Bobby the Brain Heenan was legendary. Literally every guy he managed turned into they're just a huge star. And then of course you always got to talk about Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's so much fun.
It's funny because right now I'm actually watching 87, like all of 87 right now.
What do you mean all of 87?
All of 87, like from January to December, like every show in 87.
Oh, like every Raw, like.
What?
No, they didn't have Raw back then.
I guess this wasn't Raw, but I mean, like every Saturday Night's Main Event, all that, like all the old Saturday Night's Main Event.
I just finished watching Andre turn his back on Hogan and join the Heenan family.
Oh yes, this is when Andre turns heel. No, that's fair. So had you? When was the first? So when was that your first time actually attending WWE show, or had you kind of been to one before then?
Nah, that was my first one. So I was like,
oh yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. So you said you were into Jeff Hardy and Cena. You said.
Yeah, they were my two favorites.
That's fair. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's funny. I always, I grew up. I'm not gonna lie. I grew up as a big Chris Jericho fan. Being from Winnipeg, it just made sense.
Yeah, I like Chris Jericho too.
Yeah, although I will say, I do prefer some of the stuff he used to be doing. As his stuff now it's more hit and miss now. It's not like all bad, but it's not quite what it used to be. I remember when he had the list of Jericho. That was pretty damn good. That made some great television when him and Kevin Owens, he would just go around and he would just talk about, I think AJ Styles' soccer mom haircut got put on the list or some other crap.
Mine growing up was Bret Hart.
Bret Hart.
That's fair. I was about to say you would have had a heated opinion in the Bret versus Shawn debate that went on for so many years.
That whole Montreal screw job drove me nuts.
Shawn Michaels. Yeah, I was about to say Shawn. I don't know if I've ever seen a country just an
Bret
entire
screwed
country. Yeah, Bret Hart screwed Bret Hart. Yeah, Vince McMahon.
Oh, yeah. And the entire country hate one person.
I was about to say I've never seen someone gain so much heat from an entire country. Like the only other time was Chris Jericho said he was doing a live show in. Oh, I can't remember where it was I think it was in South America. I think it was in like Brazil or something. And he was a heel at the time. I think this is when he was heel in like 2008 versus like Shawn Michaels during like his really good heel run. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but he had done something with the national flag. And I guess this country has laws about if you're doing something bad with the flag, like you could actually receive jail time for this. So he gets backstage and Vince is like, we got a plane, we gotta get you the fuck out of here. Because he had, I guess, done some horrible thing with the flag, and WWE's like going to the like law enforcement being like, we didn't know, we're really sorry, Jericho, get on the plane, get out of here. Like, because he had done he had done a show in Winnipeg that was just him talking about wrestling. It's actually what Undertaker's doing now, essentially. Just him kind of touring around with smaller venues, just talking about wrestling stories. But that was kind of a fun thing in there. Sorry, I didn't know you were into wrestling, and then I was like, "Whoa, we gotta take a look into this, Rick. He's into wrestling." There we go.
What? Going back here, what would your advice be?
yeah.
What advice would you give young athletes inspiring to play professional football?
Just focus on your craft. Kind of limit the distractions. Focus on your craft. At the end of the day, enjoy yourself. Don't try to beat yourself up with trying to be perfect or whatnot. But at the same time, respect your craft. Be honest with yourself, and then whatever you strive to do, go do. Like, don't take no shortcuts. Put in that extra work, and take every opportunity that comes your way.
Yep.
Don't be too big for an opportunity. Take out every opportunity that comes your way.
Makes sense. Now, one question I got here, and actually this is kind of a lead up into the next one, is it's actually about weather. And you probably would have gotten a bit of experience with that coming into Winnipeg. Weather conditions can have a significant impact on the game. What is the most challenging weather you have ever had to play in, and how did you adapt? And also, what is your favorite weather to play in?
Luckily, this year it didn't get as cold in Winnipeg as it usually gets. So, too cold this year. So I didn't really have any challenges this year, but
at least during the football season, we've actually, it's funny enough, as we speak, we're getting a lot of snow right now. We have gotten probably more snow in the last 24 hours than we did all of last year. And just in terms of snow, just because last year, like through the winter, we got to Christmas and I saw grass in some spots and I'm like, what the hell is going on? This is not the Winnipeg I know.
Yeah,
but we definitely had some colder, like actual games last year. Snow and cold is not the same.
I was about to say last year I didn't play in the West Final, but I was on the sideline and I was cold, man. I was like, bro, there's no way. I was like, there's no way. I was like, man, we need to just win this game so I can go in the blanket or something, man. It's cold out here.
So when you play in kind of that cold environment, how do you, like, some guys, I guess, kind of thrive under that, where they're kind of like, push me to the edge. I got this, and we'll get it out. Like, and whoever I'm going against, let's see who breaks first. There's some people that kind of embrace that. And then there's some people that, to be honest, they just do better with better weather, and that's totally understandable. Kind of maybe what train are you on in that sense?
You're kind of just trying to play for you're a journey runner, so you're not really thinking about it, but you aware that it is. Matter of fact, I'm tripping. I forgot last year, the last regular season game, we played at Calgary, and it was like -10, and I'm there. Before the game, I took my shirt off, trying to psych myself out. But once the game started, I'm like, dang, it's cold. I'm like, man, it's cold. It's cold out here, but I'm like, adrenaline running. By halftime, we go in the locker room, and I'm like, bro, I don't know why I try to take my shirt off. This is not my type of weather.
Yeah,
I remember falling on the ground one time, and the flow was so hard, and I look up and look at everybody, and they kind of got the same reaction as me. I'm like, this Canada, man, it's cold up here, man.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It's funny because I remember Carter telling me the other day during COVID season, because they had to push the season back.
Yeah, they had to push it back a month.
You guys had your West Final in December?
Yeah, it would actually be around what it is right now was when the West Final was. And I believe it was around I think it was -20 for the West Final. And there was a shit ton of snow to the point where, like, actually, if you want a decent comparison, it wasn't quite as crazy, but it wasn't exactly far off from what the Buffalo Bills have been going through in terms of the amount of snow that we had in the stadium, where we actually... So I'm a season ticket holder for the Bombers. I go to every game. And I'm actually right in the end zone that you guys come out of at the start of the game. That's where we are. And I remember we got down to our seats, and I had all my, I was layered up. I was ready to go. And I go to sit down, and I go to like, I guess I had something in my hand. I was going to put it under, and I see under, and it's just a block of snow because they were able to get like kind of in front, but we were literally, it was one of those things where when you put the seat down, you actually had to like sit on it for the seat to fully go down because there was so much snow underneath. And it was, unfortunately, I didn't know about the Buffalo Bills tradition of grabbing the snow and fucking tossing it in the air at the touchdowns because I would have totally done that if I had remembered. So, fun experiences in Winnipeg cold. What would you say is your favorite weather to play in?
I kind of like I like fall weather where it's not hot, but it's not too cold. It's like you feel the breeze or whatnot.
Just kind of a gentle breeze. Probably good when you're, again, you probably get decently hot, you know, when you're out there rushing and all that each play and whatnot. So
yeah, and I sweat a lot. So
yeah, no, that's fair. I'm the same way. Seriously, like that's why I can't do the heat. Like it hits plus 30 and I'm outside. Like I'm just sweating everywhere, and I'm like, I gotta go home and I gotta shower, and it's a mess.
Even with, like, sometimes like when we come around camp, and you know when they start the forest fires or whatnot in Canada.
Yep.
That kind of mess sometimes too.
Yeah. No, we will.
I mean, but
yeah, I even remember sometimes like we don't get as many of them. We get some in Manitoba, but actually more of what we found happens, at least in Winnipeg, is when they'll happen in like Saskatchewan or Alberta, but then all the smoke gets blown east
towards us,
and then we'll be smelling it the next day. So I guess that last one kind of leads into this one here. Turf or grass?
I like grass. I grew up on grass in South Carolina. I love playing on it. It's no better feeling. You can really dig your feet in the dirt, get off that rock.
Yeah. It's funny. This is where actually when we had Jamal Woods on, I think he was the first one we had on that actually said turf. Everyone else had said grass. He was the first one to tell us turf, which I find a little bit interesting. I feel like it also depends on the experiences. As like, for example, like if you're playing on like turf that like and occasionally a nice high school might have turf or something like that. And you'll have something like that. But then like the turf they got at IG Field is probably significantly better than anything that any sort of high school have like that. And then also when it comes to grass, like professional teams that maintain that grass to perfection will maintain it to perfection. In a high school, you'll have, you know, some guy came on. Actually, we had a problem with our field in high school where the day before game, someone brought, I guess, their Jeep Wrangler. They drove onto the field and they did donuts, just ripping the shit out of the field. And it was just a nightmare for the game the next day.
I'm not going to lie. That was my job in high school.
Oh, yeah? What are you doing?
I would go around, paint the lines, roll the field, make sure both fields were prepped.
So if it sucked, it was your fault. That's what I'm hearing.
we had, not only that, I did coach junior football at the same time. So one field was seniors field, the other side was.
He's like, we're gonna move the goal line 1 yard back.
And let me tell you, nothing's worse than BMO Field after TFC plays one day before.
And the soccer team and the football team don't like it at the same height. So it's funny though. I'd never even thought about that till you mentioned it. I think it was a few weeks ago you had mentioned that, Rick.
What's that? Oh, about the TFC in Toronto Argos? Yeah.
So do you like the grass field that they got over there in Toronto, or do you find it has actually a little bit of the problem of kind of the different teams want the different lengths on the field sort of a thing?
I actually haven't played in Toronto yet. I have yet to play in Toronto.
Oh, you haven't played in Toronto? Well,
yeah, I was hurt. I was injured when we played Toronto.
But like you will see it. It's like, when you play in Toronto, you'll see like people's like they'll go for attack and you'll see like spits of grass like just like go
Yeah.
flying all up in the air, and then it's just
Well,
like
yeah.
every so often they have to bring out the things out onto the field for people to scrape their cleats
Yep.
to get the grass off the bottom of their cleats
Yeah.
during TV timeouts.
See, I'm sure you probably love that. You're like, that's where it's like, yeah, you're right in the middle of it. Yeah, exactly. No, but I even remember, I think it was Jamal Woods when we were asking him about BMO Field. I think he was talking about, because I think, at least I'm pretty sure it was him that was mentioning this, that there's like turf for the end zone or something like that, Rick? Where there's like a point where it like switches. He had mentioned something.
He was saying like, I mean, I've been to BMO because it's only a half an hour drive from me in Hamilton, but I haven't actually looked when I go next season because me and Carter share seats when he comes to Hamilton and I go to Toronto. Yeah. I'll have to look because Jamal Woods
he said
was
that Jake
saying,
Thomas
like,
was telling him about that, like warning him, like that there's some
like
sort of change from grass to turf in the end zone or something weird like that.
Yeah, I've never heard that. That's no.
See, I didn't hear about that till just a few days ago when we had him on. I was like, I gotta look into this. That's really strange.
Yeah, so, I've never seen it. That's crazy.
I'll have to check that out next season.
Yeah, fair enough.
Who would you say is the best character in the locker room from this past season in Winnipeg?
I mean, everybody got their own little thing, so I wouldn't necessarily say best character, but if we go on best character, it's a lot of different personalities in the locker room, man.
Which one's loudest?
Loudest. I'll probably be the loudest, to be honest.
I love the self-reflection there.
But the best character, who is the best character? Probably T. Jones. Yeah, probably
fair.
T.
Yeah, and he had just resigned, right? 2 years, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. He probably had the best characters on there. I mean, I know I'm missing out on a lot of guys. There's a lot of good characters.
Oh yeah.
Just off the top of my head, thank you.
Yeah. No, I think almost every time we've asked this question, we've never gotten. It's never been an easy answer. It's like, oh my god, we got so many people who are freaking loud in that room. Someone's bouncing off the walls one day, and the next day it's someone else. You know.
No, yeah.
So something like that. So, what would you say your favorite stadium is to play in? We'll say one CFL, one non-CFL, and we're also going to exclude Princess Auto Stadium because I know I know it's going to be up there. Everyone says their home field, and that's totally fair, and it is appreciated. But let's dig a little more.
Okay, so besides Princess Auto, I had to go. I had to go with that green spot, man.
Oh yeah, over in Saskatchewan. It's a nice building. Actually, it was funny. Rick he's seen a few different stadiums and whatnot, but this was his first year coming to Winnipeg for a game.
Saskatchewan.
And over in Saskatchewan, and he saw us he saw the last game where Winnipeg plays Toronto or whatever. Yeah. So it's like not even like obviously there's kind of like the Bombers like from a few years ago who had lost in Grey Cup. They're kind of hoping for a good performance, but this is not like a Saskatchewan, like a big rivalry game in that sense, like versus Saskatchewan. And Rick, how was the noise? Because you said you were not ready for the noise.
No, like don't get me wrong. Like, I don't mind noise, but like the people sitting behind me were just like yelling at the top of their lungs, and it's just like can't even.
Of course they were. They're at a football game, Rick. They're gonna be yelling. Well, no, it's funny because this guy texts me in the middle of the game, and he's like, "Dude, I can't even hear myself think."
That'll make you mad, man.
I will say though, like, we're not. I mean, we're not.
You guys are pretty loud. I'll put it this way. I think Hamilton, at least from what I've seen, is probably loudest out of the East. I'd say.
Oh, Toronto's just like dead.
Well, yeah.
Half the building in Toronto is empty.
Montreal, you just hear those stupid goddamn horns.
Oh, the horns! Oh, I can't watch it on TV. I'm like, I'm gonna have to see I'm gonna have to see an onside punt, which I don't even understand how that works. And then I'm gonna hear the horn, like literally. We've had time where me and Rick will sometimes live stream these games and kind of do a little bit of a watch along and whatnot. For some people that aren't able to kind of watch or see them on CFL Plus or whatever. And everyone in the chat would be like, "How's the game?" And I'd be like, "Well, if you mute the TV, it's great."
Keep in mind, you can only use them in Montreal.
Yeah, it's every other stadium. It's banned.
I did not know. Why is that?
Because like, I guess it's just that damn annoying. Because in Winnipeg and stuff like that, you can have like the ones you blow into, but in Montreal, a lot of the ones are the hand pumped ones that just make that really high pitched like squeal.
Yeah.
And so, just a bit of a interesting novelty about specifically the Alouettes, I guess.
Yeah, even the end zone it's not a true end zone, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it tapers in slightly.
Yeah.
I was about to say it's all fun and games until you're like for our receiver friends in the end zone, they think they got it, but nope, this stadium's a little bit different. It's like baseball where there's like baseball is such a weird sport in the sense of where I don't know, I can't think of any other sport where the field shape changes so much like baseball. You'll have one field where it's just normal. One field, like in the one in Boston, where they got a big fucking wall because they got a road on the other side. And this is just allowed. And this is just accepted somehow. And then if you're playing in San Francisco, it's just mutually accepted that when you go for a home run, you're trying to hit into the frickin' bay. And so it's just a strange novelty of that sport. And I guess got a little bit with the tapered end zone over there in Montreal.
No, yeah.
So you joined the CFL in 23, and you already have 2 Grey Cup games under your belt. Yep. Being in the league for a year and a half, how does that experience help someone grow in the CFL?
It kind of gets you more prepared for like not only regular season but postseason. Like it's not a shock to you. So you feel me? You're not going there. You expecting you're not going there expecting the unexpected. You kind of really been there, done that kind of deal. So not nervous and that. You kind of ready to put it on.
It kind of reminds me of like just sports in general, where like players will be like playing with like torn MCLs and they don't care if they're injured or not. They're still playing. People with broken fingers.
I was about to say, one thing I will say, if you ever do get into like watching hockey or whatever, if you ever see the playoffs, because NHL playoffs is a spectacle. Whenever a team is eliminated, I want you to go on like TSN, ESPN, and wait for the report of how many friggin' injuries they were playing through. Where I can't remember what it was. I know that pardon my French here, but Blake Wheeler of the Winnipeg Jets a few years ago played with a ruptured testicle. He played with that. Guys that played with broken ankles. What was it that Matthew Tkachuk was going through in Florida when they won the Stanley Cup? Do you remember this, Rick?
Give me 1 second.
I'm trying, because he was playing through, like, his injury was so bad that he was playing even though he was struggling to get out of bed. Like, it was just brutal.
Damn, super.
Yeah. He had a cracked sternum.
Oh, yeah, a broken sternum.
Yep, broken sternum, and he was still playing. Like, I'll put it this way. It's probably a terrible idea. I'm sure the doctor is just like biting all of his nails off his fingers watching this guy play the game.
I mean, until this day, when Toronto played Montreal 2 years ago, Carter.
Are you talking NHL?
No, CFL. Did Chad Kelly not play with a concussion that game, if I remember correctly?
There was something going on or something like that. Although I will say,
and he wouldn't admit it.
When I think of guys playing with concussions, was it with the Miami Dolphins, where he's out of it?
Tua's brother.
Where he was just, it was one of those things where it's like, why did someone let this guy on the field? He was not he was not there. And then he just gets rocked again, and everyone's like, how did nobody stop this? Like,
he just like, I think he has as many concussions as Zach Collaros does in his lifetime.
Although I will say, Collaros, it is funny how Collaros for a while had a bit of a, I guess pre like his time in Winnipeg had a, I guess a bit of an injury prone kind of reputation. However, I will say big credit to Stanley Bryant and the offensive line from Winnipeg for stopping that. So big thank you to the offensive line of Winnipeg for doing that. As they've been able to do pretty well. I saw he resigned as well. Now one thing, this is only your second year in the CFL, and you know, if we revisit this in a few years' time, we might get something a little bit crazier. But what is the weirdest thing, whether in college, whether it was in the CFL, whatever, that you have ever had to sign for a fan, or what is your weirdest or strangest interaction with a fan, just in general? Just for context of the kind of things we have heard of on this show, players that have signed a car engine, foreheads, Saskatchewan Roughriders women's underwear. We have heard it all. That was Wayne Smith, who was worried that he was a homewrecker doing that. But thankfully, I don't think he's gotten in any trouble regarding that.
I don't think I had to sign anything weird. Let me think.
This past year at our season ticket holder event, someone brought a dresser drawer, like not like a whole dresser, but like a drawer from a dresser, and got the whole team to sign it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You have been carrying this team, and now I will ask you to carry my socks. Please sign it.
No, I don't think I had to sign anything weird. I think not yet. At least not so far.
Not yet. We'll have to revisit that.
Yeah.
But not quite. No, that's fair.
Yeah, not yet.
And then you had kind of mentioned about how you kind of get prepared for games, kind of listening to some music. Is there any bands, any artists, any songs that you enjoy listening to that help you before the game? What is it? What is on the playlist of Celestin Haba?
I listen to a lot of rap.
Yep.
I try to put R&B in there too nowadays to kind of not to calm me down a little bit before the game. I used to like to get hyped before a game, but now I like to calm me down a little bit. But
almost more of a focus thing, rather like more so. Would you say? Yeah.
A lot of No Cap, Kodak Black, a lot of Lil Baby. Yeah. Recently, I started to mix in some rock in there, like being in Canada.
Oh yeah,
getting bought into some different music. Obviously, growing up in the South, they play country music at practice or whatnot. So I know a couple country songs or whatnot, but that wasn't in my playlist before the game.
Yeah,
being in Canada, getting introduced to music I didn't listen to before, as far as rock. I try to throw a little bit of rock in there sometimes just to switch it up.
So what have you gotten introduced to that you've thrown in there?
Nickelback. What's crazy is I didn't realize I knew a couple of songs, because they come on record.
See, that's how it can be with a lot of bands where you're like, I've heard this before. I don't know I never knew the name, but I've heard this before. So,
like, I'm listening, like, man, I heard this song. This used to be Monday Night Raw intro song. I'm
that's right. Yes. Yeah, and actually, Nickelback. Can you remember which Grey Cup it was? They actually did the halftime show for the Grey Cup. A little over 10 years ago, I think.
Last year.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was in Hamilton last year. Hey, looking back at it, I wish I would.
Well, yeah, because last year they had Green Day do it. And Nickelback, I'm talking like 10 years ago, roughly. It's somewhere around there. Like, I want to say maybe like early 2010s, something like that.
2011.
2011.
BC plays.
Well, this is when they released Dark Horse, when they really just blew up. So that kind of makes sense. But and then actually, I think
just be thankful we didn't have to deal with the Jonas Brothers from this past.
I was about to say, if you haven't picked up on it, neither me nor Rick are a fan of the Jonas Brothers.
My little sister enjoyed that, man.
Fair enough.
Oh.
I know there are a lot of people that are. There's one of our viewers is a big Jonas Brothers fan. He's like, I will never listen to you. And I'm like, fair enough. You don't have to. That's the wonderful thing about an opinion. Everyone has their own. And so, no, it was interesting because Jamal was saying, he's like, well, I listen to my music and you should check it out on Spotify, Apple Music. And I was like, there you go. I'm like, you and Wolotarski, you gotta. And he said Brendan Alexander makes his own music as well, I believe he said. Yeah, he was saying that the three of them were considering getting together for some sort of show or something. And I was like, hey, there you go. Little bomber special.
We got some in the locker room now.
There you go. Halftime show for next year's Grey Cup.
I was about to say, you got to have the halftime show in the locker room with the three of them, like preparing you for the second half.
Keeping it out.
Jeff Cole playing the air
Drew,
guitar.
we got to get focused. Get the guitar.
And Jeff Cole just sitting there playing the air guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jefferson, yes. Jefferson there playing the air guitar. That's great. In 2023, Jackson Jeffcoat had just gotten injured. It was your rookie season, and you had to go in and fill for Jeffcoat. How did that make you feel, that knowing that you had some big shoes that you had to fill in a spot as a rookie?
I was just telling myself, like, go in and just go play football. It's nothing different. It's just, you feel me, on the big stage, you in the pros, and I just go out there and make it happen. So I just went out there and just played as hard as I could, and then it turned out how it turned out, and I just decided to never look back. Like, just take advantage of the opportunity and keep going.
You walk on the field, it's like, hey, buddy, just breathe.
Yeah. I
breathe.
I did.
I was about to say,
hear the crowd screaming, just kind of calm down a little bit.
Yeah. It's funny, the way you answered that, it almost sounds like kind of similar to the way you're talking about when it comes to that playoff experience, where it's not necessary. It's just a matter of just think about the game. It's just another game. Score is always 0-0. You always got to put it. It doesn't matter what the hell that is. You just got to zone in on your game, because those outside, because I guess that's probably got to be a big difference kind of growing up, playing football and getting to higher levels and playing professionally, is just that the higher you play, the more distractions there are. So zone out the distractions, I imagine. Yeah. That's fair. Rick, is there anything else you have there?
Nope. There's one last thing, going back to this whole baseball contract. I just seen this tweet. I feel bad for Mets fans knowing that they'll have to pay more money for tickets, drinks, food, and merchandise to cover his salary. Baseball needs a salary cap because these contracts are getting out of control.
Yeah, they're literally like throwing like the GDP of small nations at different players.
That is.
Carter, I don't know if you know this. I know Haba will.
Yeah.
That contract is the same size as a Powerball lottery is down in the States.
Yeah, like for real.
There's been some down there.
I mean, to be fair, if you're that good, you're basically winning the lottery anyway. So
that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. Hopefully him signing that deal, he doesn't have the problems that Shohei Ohtani did over in LA, where like his agent was trying to like steal money or whatever. So it was something along those lines where there were like, I guess it was something along the lines of, I guess one of them was banking him not understanding English as well. And so they were like trying to use that way to like siphon money. It was bad. And it was like,
hey, for that $51 million, you best be doing interviews with the media for that $51 million.
I was about to say, let's not go too deep into that, because that was also a big point of contention now with even CFL contracts, was now those big media bonuses that so bit of an interesting thing there. So I think that's pretty much almost all that we got. Is there anything you would like to promote? Any shout outs, anything like that you got there?
Shout out my teammates, man. Shout out my teammates. Shout out the city.
There you go.
They have to push for another Grey Cup.
Shout out to all the Winnipeggers going outside right now to shovel.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't miss that cold. I'll tell you that.
There you go. So are you back in South Carolina now, or?
Yeah, I'm in South Carolina visiting family, and then I head back out to Texas. That's where I live now.
Nice. Where in Texas, roughly?
In Plano.
Nice.
to be training out there for the next couple months until it's time to head back up.
Then back to Canada.
Jamal explained it the other day when he was talking to us. He's like, it's usually like a week or so after a Grey Cup, or like a month after the Grey Cup, and then he's back in train again. When do you start your training?
Probably when I get back to Texas. So I took a couple weeks off, eat, get fat. You know how it goes.
Go back and cut down all the pounds.
Yeah.
So are you going back like just after Christmas or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And so
enjoy Christmas with your family.
Yeah, I've been working out a little bit while I was here, but you know how that go, man.
It's like the team tells you to come back under a certain weight. It's like, okay, I got to go shed this weight to be back at my proper weight come camp.
Oh God, I just don't have to do the stuff that at the MMA, like where they're in like a bathtub and they're doing whatever the frick it is to get them to make weight.
Nah.
So,
well,
that sounds miserable.
I will say, if you're ever in Colorado.
Oh God, I know where he's going with this. You're talking about our Aiden Everhart interview, aren't you, Rick?
Yes.
Where he was recommending peanut butter and jelly wings. I have, at least up in Canada, peanut butter, like the stuff you put on a sandwich. Yeah, apparently they have that on wings there, and it's very good. I have never heard of this in Canada. I didn't know if this was a phenomenon of the States, a phenomenon of Colorado, or just a phenomenon of this one restaurant in Colorado.
I will say he did say it was a 65-35 split.
See, that doesn't help me, believe it or not, Rick. It still seems strange to me.
Carter, you guys have the Banjo Bowl the week before Labor Day, correct?
Week after Labor Day.
Okay. So Haba, if you ever go to Toronto the week before Labor Day, and you go to the CNE, you're going to see some of the weirdest food you've ever
avocado
eaten.
Ice cream.
Ketchup and mustard
Fruity
ice
Pebble
cream?
chicken, something like that?
Fruity Pebble deep fried chicken.
Wow.
With Fruity Pebbles cereal surrounding it.
That is crazy. I would say I would say one snack I don't like in Canada, and they kill me for is ketchup chips. I hate that.
Honestly, no, it's funny. I like ketchup chips. I can understand that. I can get that. It's a very strong flavor, and so with any strong flavor of basically anything, I can understand how it can be a love it or hate it situation. I know a lot of people who don't like ketchup chips. That is fair. That is if they're like that makes sense. I can understand that. As much as I like them, I get that. As even then, like I only get ketchup chips occasionally because of how strong of a flavor it is. It's kind of one of those things where it's like I know some people who they can just get like, yeah. Well, and that's why I'm not even much of a salt and vinegar guy. I like
it just surprises me.
Good all dressed chips though. I'm a fan of all dressed. Those are nice.
How many Americans actually come to Canada just for ketchup chips? Like you'll see them come across the border and buy like a couple of bags just to take them home.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know some in the northern states that go up into Canada to buy insulin, just because of the price of that is significantly lower and literally cheaper to drive into Canada, buy it, and drive back. But just makes sense in that regard. So. But
I haven't tried poutine yet, but I don't know if I could try that yet. I don't know if I'm gonna
poutine.
Yeah.
I was about to say if you are gonna try poutine, you might want to do it when the Bombers are playing an away game in Montreal. If you're looking for the best poutine, that is the birthplace of poutine over there in Quebec and in Montreal. So actually, I'm gonna be in Montreal this next year in February. They got a few hockey games going on there. And I'll be checking those out, and I'll be trying some stuff. I've never been to Montreal, so I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, they got some good stuff too.
I have a question for you. I don't know how I found this information, but apparently it's out there. How do you explain oatmeal cream pie?
How do I explain it?
Yeah, because apparently that's one of your favorite fruit, your favorite snacks is oatmeal cream pie.
I like oatmeal cream pies, man. So it's basically like a soft cookie with like icing in the middle. A super soft oatmeal cookie with like vanilla icing in the middle. And it's good, man. Especially like heat it up for like less than 10 seconds. So heat it up like 5 to 10 seconds.
And
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I
That
had to
sounds
Google.
good. To be fair, that sounds good.
I had to Google what Funyuns were.
Y'all got Funyuns in Canada though.
Yeah, but I don't think we call them Funyuns though.
Hold on, what y'all call? What y'all call them?
They're they are classified as I gotta think of what it onion ring onion ring. Carter, you know what I'm talking about, like the round circle onion rings.
Yeah, I mean, I know we have something called Fritos that are kind of similar.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. Like you have like the round onion,
It's like
kind
an
of
onion
like,
chip. It's a yellow bag.
yeah, it's onion, but it's like but in onion ring form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I'm like,
I see
what are
like stuff
Funyuns?
here where they like even ones like Great Value here. They sell one and they just call it
Yeah.
flavored rings. That's like,
Okay.
but then I see some here that are Funyuns. So I think we definitely have Funyuns here, but then we also have stuff that essentially is Funyuns, but it's just called different things. And it's just not consistent, which is probably why Canadians will, in terms of people being aware of that term, are probably more hit and miss, I'd say. Some will know what you're talking about, and then some won't know what you're talking about, but if you show them a picture, they'll be like, oh, like that, okay.
Yeah. It's definitely some good food in Winnipeg for sure, though.
Actually, that's probably Winnipeg's like most redeeming quality is the food. There's a lot of good restaurants in Winnipeg.
Yeah, it's a couple good spots out there. Well, not a couple, it's more than a couple of good spots out there.
There's a lot of good spots.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I think that's pretty much everything that we were hoping to get through. And I appreciate you coming on and giving your time, as always. Very much.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Not a problem, man.
We have another teammate later on this week.
I was about to say, we actually got, just before you came on, Miles Fox has agreed to do one later this week. So that'll be coming out late. That'll be coming out probably this Friday because I think we're recording Thursday or whatever. So everyone watching at home, tune in for that, and also to the people watching at home. Oh, was this right?
That was actually my roommate for the last 2 years too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Boy, man.
There you go. Well, we'll see if he has any fun and be like, hey, so did Haba do anything strange? You got any dirt on your roommate there? Let's get him in trouble. I'm just kidding. No, but I really appreciate you being able to come on and spend your time. And so to the wonderful people listening at home, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys leave a like, share it around, all that wonderful stuff if you have not already, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, helps out the channel a ton. If you're listening to this on Spotify, give us 5 stars. We'd really, really appreciate it. As, of course, at the end of a wonderful interview, I always have to do a shameless plug of all our channels.
You know what sucks, Carter, is I'm gonna have to go back on YouTube and watch all the games from this season because I'm starting to get that itch for like CFL.
Yeah.
Because free agents doesn't come till February.
There's a channel called Calgary Stampeders Classics. You should actually check them out because they post a bunch of old games. So actually, one they sent in the chat the chat I'm in on Instagram today. They only have 30 minutes of this game, and it was of back when the CFL actually did an All-Star game. They posted 28 and a half minutes from December 8th, 1956. As they actually, I don't know how, but they have actual footage of this game that they
before my
posted
times.
way before
my
everyone's times. This is the CFL back all those years ago. And I guess it's kind of like a highlight reel. And so you can check out, I think he'll post some older games on there. So you might want to check that out, Rick, if you're looking for some old content. But yes, thank you.
Definitely not watching 19 and 21 Grey Cup. That's for damn sure.
That's fair. You got to watch.
I was in Oh, definitely got to go back to 1999
See if
then,
you can
when
find
Danny
99
Mac,
exactly. Yeah.
when your assistant GM Danny Mac was the last winning Grey Cup champion in Hamilton, which is pretty sad.
Fair enough. But thank you so much to everyone watching at home. Thank you so much, Celestin Haba, for coming on. Really, really appreciate you taking the time on here. And I think without further ado, we will see you guys next time. Peace, love, and positivity to all you wonderful people at home. We'll see you guys for the next one.